Today I'm going to answer a question that I get all the time from not only YouTube subscribers, but my friends as well. Do we really need a brokerage account? For me, it's a topic that I'm really torn about. As you know, I have a Robinhood account, I have a brokerage account, which I will be closing, and people ask me all the time, why am I closing my brokerage account? Here are the questions that I ask myself, as well as ask others when they ask me if they need a brokerage account. Before we dive into it, if you are new, my name is Brad. I make videos with tips and motivation on how to get out of debt, save money, invest for retirement, all in the hopes of reaching financial independence through my own personal experiences. I got introduced to brokerage accounts while just sitting around the barbecue table with the boys. It was kind of like back in high school when we were sitting around trying to test our manhood with things like, hey man, how much do you bench? I heard one of my friends ask another friend, hey, how's your portfolio going? And this conversation started and I had no idea what the heck they were talking about. They were talking about Robinhoods and capital gains and dividends. I'm pretty sure a bull got in a fight with a bear. I had no idea what they were talking about. I was waiting for talks of Sherwood Forest and Little John so I could get into the conversation. But when it got to me, I was completely tongue-tied. I pretty much gave them the whole, yeah, the portfolio's going great, but I had no idea. I don't tend to be the guy that's left in the dark for long. I have no problem asking people questions. So I asked them, what the heck is a brokerage account? And in the weeks following, I downloaded Robinhood. I had $10,000 invested. I was up all night reading reports about companies, this, that, and the other thing. I was all in. I wanted to be one of the boys. And I thought that this was something that I needed to accomplish to prove my manhood. And this was all before my debt-free journey, but still, when I was investing into Robinhood, into this brokerage account, something just didn't feel right to me. I had $189,000 worth of debt and I just was living paycheck to paycheck and I didn't feel like I was doing the right thing. But I kept on doing it anyway so that I'd fit in with my friends. About 3 months into Robinhood, I found out about Dave Ramsey. I focused on my debt. I decided I was going to stop spending money. I was going to start budgeting, which was not going to make me any friends. But I knew that that was going to be the right thing moving forward. And with that debt-free journey, my deposits into Robinhood stopped. And all that ties into right now. I've been in my debt-free journey for 2 years now. I'm about to be debt-free next month. My income is up. I'm going to be debt-free. This would be the prime time for investing. This is when I should be firing up the old Robinhood account or getting into the new glamorous M1 Finance. Now would be the perfect time to do this, so I was all excited to start investing again. I wanted to start investing back into my brokerage account, but then I thought back to the conversations that I have with my friends when they ask me if they should have a brokerage account. Because really in the back of my mind, I see all these online investment apps and brokerage accounts, for most people, just a way to sit around and talk with the boys about how much they bench and what their portfolio looks like and how much dividends did they receive this quarter, when I feel like there's some other things that we could think about before we even get to a brokerage account. Not to say that a brokerage account doesn't fit in with some people's needs, but for me and for most, I don't think it really does. So here are the questions I ask my friends when they ask me if they need a brokerage account. Number one, do you have any high interest debt? I don't care who you are, whether you like Dave Ramsey, whether you do, you don't, I don't care. If you have high interest debt, and we'll call it anything over 6%, you need to get rid of the debt. There's no debate, I think, on that side. When you talk to even the financial independence movement, and they talk about investing while in debt, this, that, and the other thing, once we start pushing that 6% interest rate, I think everyone can agree you have to get rid of that debt. You are setting yourself so far back if you are maintaining debt, paying minimums, and paying interest to banks. And to be honest, this is where I lose most people at step number one, because people don't want to get out of debt. They're used to debt. They like the comfort of debt. They like using credit cards and things like that. If you have any debt that's above 6% interest, I'm sorry, I'm a firm believer. You got to get rid of that debt before you start worrying about any investments, let alone a brokerage account. An employee match would be the only thing that I would ever entertain, because that's free money. That's like a guy saying, hey, bring over a $100 bill and I'll give you a $100 bill. So the employee match is definitely a need regardless, but Get rid of that debt, please. The next question after debt is, have you maxed out your employee match? Do you have access to an employee match through your 401k? Now, not everyone does. I don't, so I can skip right past this. But if you have an employee match opportunity at your 401k, you need to be putting money into that. Like I said, it is free money. You have to take advantage of that. It's going to compound. It's just the most amazing thing for retirement accounts. Please, please, please. Use your employee match if you have it. So right there, I have those first two things out of the way. Don't have any debt and don't have access to an employee match. The next thing I would ask is, do you have your Roth IRAs maxed out? This is where the first bit of my savings is gonna go for 2020, and the same with my wife. That's $12,000 that we are gonna contribute into our Roth IRA. $12,000 of savings that will never see a brokerage account. $12,000 that has access to the same investment funds as a brokerage account, but at a lower cost and with all the benefits of the Roth IRA. The next question I ask on top of the employee match, now that you've maxed out your Roth IRAs, have you maxed out your 401k or your 403b? Now for my wife and I, not only do we have a 403b, but we have a 457 as well. This gives us an insane amount of money that we can save tax deferred, lower our W-2, and put that money back in our pocket. Assuming a 25% tax bracket, every single time you put money into a 401k, a 403b, or a 457, every dollar you put in, you're putting 25 cents back into your pocket that you would have given the IRS. I see no need to be putting money into a brokerage account if you have access to a 401k or 403b or 457. It just doesn't make tax sense to me. After my wife and I max out 403bs and 457s, if that's even possible, that will be a total of $87,000 saved for the year. $19,000 for each 403b, $19,000 for each 457, and $12,000 for both of our IRAs combined. And with a savings goal of $100,000, I still have about $13,000 to go. So is this where I might want to access my brokerage account? For me, not really, because I have access to some other things that I think should come before the brokerage account. The next thing that I would put money towards if I had the money, and for me, I should, is my HSA account, my health savings account. The benefits of the HSA are incredible. I'll just give you the real brief overview. Essentially, you put money in tax-free. The money grows as an investment, also tax-free. And if you use the money for qualified health expenses, that is also used tax-free. So the HSA has a triple tax advantage. Right now, for married, I could put $7,000 into that. And you can look for a full list of all of the qualified health benefits. You're going to use them. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to use them right now. You can save the receipts and let that investment compound over time. And then later in life, then put in all those receipts and get all of that money back later. It doesn't have to be used right now. So now with that $7,000 on top of the $87,000, I'm at $94,000 saved for the year. My IRA is acting as my emergency fund. I could take those contributions out penalty free at any time. That's $12,000. And I have my 1 to 3 months of emergency funds in my Capital One Money Market 360 account. So here's where my friends would say, okay, you have $6,000 left to get to 100. Does that $6,000 go into a brokerage account? And for them, maybe. For me, I don't know. And this kind of is the beauty of personal finance. But let me give you a couple different ideas and places that I might put that $6,000 before I think about a brokerage account. Number one, I might want to put that to the principal of my mortgage. Now, I've come on here and said that I don't plan on attacking my mortgage. I have a 15-year fixed rate mortgage at under 4% interest. It's going to be gone. I put 20% down, so I'm kind of happy with where my mortgage is at. And I know I could probably get a better return than my interest rate over time. And I know that's a debatable topic, but once again, that's how I feel. I could take that $6,000 and I could put it into my money market account. Let it grow at 2%. Save it for things like front loading my Roth IRAs for next year, or saving for a possible real estate investment, or saving for a possible business venture. I could just keep that money a little heavy in cash and use it for things that I might need right away. Or hell, I saved $96,000. I have a huge emergency fund. I don't have any debt. I don't know, maybe I'll go on a $6,000 vacation. I mean, I don't know, but for me, I just don't see where the brokerage account and the need for that is ever going to come into my hands until I'm in excess of $100,000 that I'm going to be able to save over the course of a year. And I know for most Americans, $100,000 saved is a lot of freaking money. For me, $100,000 would be a pretty much 50% savings rate, which for right now, I'm at 69% or so for the year. So it's pretty attainable. Every situation is going to be different, right? You might be in a position where you don't have all those 403Bs and 457s. You might not have access to an HSA, and now you have all this money and you've maxed out your Roth and you've done some things, and the brokerage account might be right for you. I just wanted to show you a couple different investment vehicles that I think about and that I will take advantage of before I think about using a brokerage account and building my portfolio and buying all these stocks just so I can sit around at the barbecue with my friends and tell them how my portfolio is doing. I would much rather tell them that I'm out of debt. I have a Roth IRA that I could use for an emergency fund if I need to. I'm maxing out my retirement accounts. I'm building a health savings account, and I got a little bit of money left over to save for business, real estate, or a possible vacation. That just sounds like the best plan for me, and it's the plan that I've built over the last 2 years of my debt-free journey. Because I know my way is not perfect, get down in the comments below. Give me your thoughts of a brokerage account. Let me know if what I just told you is completely far-fetched. If you kind of agree with me, you disagree with me, that's fine. Just because you disagree with me doesn't mean that you're right, I'm wrong, doesn't mean anything. I would love to hear your feedback because that's how I learn. Until I see you on the next one, guys, stay positive, work really, really hard, always be kind to others. I hope you have yourself an amazing day and a better tomorrow.